Hi, John Marshall, the DrillMaster. I was asked to take a look at this school's performance. Let's see, this is, I'm going to take a wild guess. Down here it says Schaffer or Schaefer. Not exactly sure how to pronounce that. But anyway, I would take a guess that it's Schaefer, but not exactly sure. So let's see here. Let's start watching. So I'll rewind this just a bit. I've been doing a setup here, so I had to play some of the video. All right, so you can't see, but there we go. There we go. So judges are ready, it looks like. Anyway, Commander, you should be facing the platoon. You should be facing the flight. You're supposed to, everybody, actually, all the services, we give all commands standing still when the whole formation's standing still, facing the formation, whether it's a flight or element, platoon, or squad. And that's for this type of marching. In parades, then you're facing away, obviously, then you're receiving commands from a higher commander, and then you echo over your right shoulder unless the movement is going to the left, then it's over the left shoulder. But here, every single time you stop, you start out facing the flight, and then you execute a face in march to the left and step off with the flight, and then we'll see what happens. So you're with the command voice. You're making it. You're coming across clear after that initial enunciation, that initial few letters. You should be saying forward. You actually have to enunciate the words. So it should be, if you're standing facing your formation, forward, march. Now, for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about when I say harch, you're in other services. I'm talking to Air Force right now. We say harch. So, harch, and you're going to take that step off and at the same time with the rest of the flight. You're at order arms. Armed flights follow the Army training circular, and so you're going to you should be at sling arms, and that's just in general. With armed flights, usually follow the training circular, as far as a couple of different Air Force standards, but there are some techniques that we take from the Army training circular. And then color guards follow the guards follow the Marine Corps order, because guards are supposed to be at the outside, or what the Marine Corps calls the outboard shoulder. Great timing coming in, really nice, but a little bit just slight variation of technique in walking or marching in at trail. So you can see the hands, there's a little bit of a variation of technique. And so the Air Force holds the rifle, I'll show you here, holds the rifle like this. So you should be marching in like this, not like this, which some of the team members are marching in with that flared hand. It's kind of a drag marching for a distance with it, but it works. It's not too bad. The butt of the rifle needs to be 3 inches off the marching surface, and so this this cadet back here slightly lower. This cadet over here behind first element leader then is a bit higher than the rest. So I'm just slight variations with the hands and the rifle elevation there. Not too bad at all. Good. And then, Commander, you should be immediately face the flight. But that you halted, and then you all slammed your rifles down. Now, it sounds good, but that's not the proper technique. Proper technique is to bring the rifle down to the order position so that there is minimal sound. Now, that's not to say that you go and just ease it down and okay, no sound, good. Not that at all. I mean, you're going to make a little bit of sound. You're not going to force the sound. That's the guidance there. So look at this, all three toes aligned, really nice job there. Feet could use a little bit of work for that 45-degree angle. But you can see here the toe of the butt is in front of the human toes there. So, and you lifted the rifle on there. You lifted the rifle, everybody's going left face, but you lifted the rifle on the preparatory command, which isn't a thing. Nobody does that, so don't do it. It's left face, 1, 2. You lift the rifle up, bring it over in and next to where you're going to place it down, next to your right foot, and then you place it down. So as I've stopped this, we can look at the see the rifle angle here. You should lift the rifle up so that it is vertical the whole time. Don't lift it up, then move it, then bring it down. It's lift up, bring over, and then set down. And as you lift it up and bring it over and set it down, it should be vertical the whole time. So there's some angles here that need to be addressed. And lifting the rifle actually quite high for most it looks like. So it's just a lift and then lift, travel, and drop in those 2 counts. So facing movements are 2 counts, and that's where that would happen. So I can understand some of the words there, but the enunciation really is going to help you the best. And then bring the rifle to port, and then you're going to come to order. You bring your hand out and then slap, and that's not the technique. Technique is to bring the hand straight from the small of the stock straight to the upper hand guard. And then this isn't a thing either. Nobody does this. And this is, if you want to do that for exhibition drill, be my guest. It looks sharp. It really does. And it sounds sharp. And it's really nice. I like it in exhibition drill, not in regulation drill. This is not a thing. Not at all. You come to order by bringing your hand at an angle over. I'm used to tucking my thumb for ceremonial drill. You bring the hand over and then place it down. And so what you're going to do is going to be slamming it. So it's the exaggerated move here. So it sounded like you said dress, dress. And we need to enunciate our commands when we call. It's going to be dress, right, dress. And you're dragging out that right there, and there needs to be a certain tempo. And that's a longer explanation, but it needs to be in tempo. Dress, right, dress, up. There's the tempo. Dress, right. You're elongating the right and then creating essentially 2 beats, 2 counts in there when there probably shouldn't be. So let's look at the hands here. I know that some are moving with that dress right, and that's okay, but hands should be flared on the side of the rifle, not wrapped around the front at all. So that those fingers should be extended and joined at the side. Inspection arms, not bad. Nice timing there. So you've got that exaggerated. The slap, it really does sound nice. I like it. But in regulation drill, that's not a technique. You're essentially beasting the rifle, it's called, and that's just not something that's done. Good. So hands, what's awkward about parade rest for the Air Force is that your hand is going to look like this, not like this. See how my hand breaks the line of the rifle there, the front line, so you got to keep that hand back. But hands remained in place, and that's good. And left hand over the backside. So Commander, you're dragging and dragging and dragging. 15 count. 15 count. Manual arms. Manual arms. Little bit faster. I just personally, I appreciate that dead count in there. 15 count. Manual arms. It's kind of a 15 count manual. Okay, I got that. For that one count, it kind of sinks into the command, sinks into the flight members' heads, and then you can say, and I'm getting ready. And all this happens during that one dead count. It's just like that. It can happen during the command. It just feels a little more natural to me, anyway, to call it with that dead count in there. So I'm gonna turn this up just a bit more so I can hear better. Not bad. Flight tench hut, although it's a little slow. Flight tench hut. Yeah, that's way too long. Nope. So, first count. Second count is to bring the hand to the butt, not bring it past and then smack. It's a flare that should not be there. And that's nope. Not even proper technique. This is not. So decades ago, Marine Corps, Navy, and Coast Guard still use it. Decades ago, this was a salute. While you're walking around, you're at right shoulder, you know, sir, ma'am, saluting whoever, whatever you need to. That's a salute. This is nothing with the hand like this. Nobody does this. Only the Marine Corps, Navy, and Coast Guard do this as a salute, but everybody does this, going to right shoulder. And then you cut the hand away directly to the side. You don't bring it out and then slap your thigh like you're going to. Yep. And then, so it was bad enough to slap the thigh, but not even cupping the hand before you moved. And then again, also the movement coming from the right hand, coming from the butt, coming out, just so you can make a little bit of noise. Yes, it does sound good. I like it. As I said, I like the flamboyant moves in exhibition drill, not here. So from here, hand comes up. That's it. And I'm not talking about the sentinels at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, sliding the hand up the rifle so that it touches the entire time. Not talking about that, but you don't come out and make that little C movement there. Oh, none of you are cupping the hand there after the thigh slap. So slight timing, and it should be count off, but you're count off, really dragging them out really slow, not establishing a tempo. So then, Commander, your team isn't responding in a correct tempo. And these cream berets, the the base honor guards were actually forced to wear those. Forced, I say. We were forced to wear those for a time in the early 90s. Everybody hated them, but they actually look good if you can coordinate with a color scheme there. So a little bit of variation for the timing there. And so the heads turned after the command of off, and count off in line formation. This is the only command in all of the military that I'm aware of, and I've been studying these for many years. This is the only command where on the phrase on the command actually is supposed to be taken literally. The command is count off. Everybody's head turns on the command off. Now, every other time when on the command is stated in the drill ceremonies manual, that means directly after. Everybody executes the move immediately after the command. And it should be 1, 2, 3. So, and I'll just go a little further. The counts, the numbers that you're calling out should be given at the same level as a command of execution. So, commander, you don't face with your flight. You stay facing the flight and then give the command. Don't lift the rifle on right. I had no idea what you said. All I heard was, and I'm not trying to make fun of you at all, Commander. What I'm trying to get you to do is enunciate your commands. The team knows what you're going to call next. I had no idea what I knew what was supposed to come next, but I had no idea what the command was. And saying close harch is totally different from what you called. Close harch, but that was and you keep looking at your flight as well. So you should have half-stepped, facing the flight, should have half-stepped forward, and then for this you should backwards march. And sound is not supposed to be made on on ready front. Quite a bit of variation with the feet there. I mean that, the angle, 45-degree angle. So you should be marching at a backwards step, Commander. Right there. So big technique problems with all the rifle movement that you're doing, the butt slams and the lifting on the command of on the preparatory command, the hand flares for the hand slaps, the beasting, and then here that's not right shoulder. Right shoulder means that your upper arm and your elbow. Your upper arm is vertical, your elbow is tucked into your side, your right forearm is horizontal. And what you have here is elbows either back and out or behind. And this is a form of right shoulder, but not with the rifle. Rifle's not supposed to be up against your torso, your chest there. So I'm going to bring up my metronome and tap out what you're doing. Your tempo here. Wow, you're barely hitting 94 beats per minute. That's actually, I was going to say 90, but I just wanted to make sure. So you're well below the allowed tempo range, which for the Air Force and the Space Force is anywhere from 100 to 120 beats per minute. So beats equals steps per minute. So your heel strikes are creating your tempo, and that's just much too slow. You're toe striking here, and you should be heel striking. And not only are you toe striking, but it looks like you're taking just minimal inches forward with each step. And it should be, for the Air Force, 12-inch step measured from heel to heel. So you should be toe or heel striking for every half step. The Air Force doesn't heel or toe strike at all, except for backwards march. So we'll get to see here. There we go. Yeah, it's close. Ah, of course. I double click. So, all right, that's most likely going to be a 12-inch. I'll take a guess that third element leader probably wears a size 10 or maybe 11 shoe. So with that slight gap between the toe and the heel there, you can see where it's going to come down. Most likely that's a 12-inch step. That's not too bad then. All right, it was just an estimate as you were marching away. So yeah, that's not too bad, although actually it looks like you're overlapping. So as the toe comes down, it's the heel finally comes down to the marching surface, and it looks like you're overlapping the toe that's behind by about an inch or two. So if you're extending out, at least that half step would be the proper distance. So this isn't the proper distance that I'm seeing here. So, Commander, you want to maintain that 3-step distance. There you've got the 3-step. Over here on the other side, you had a 2. Don't stomp. That's a half step, not a stomp. Arm swing looks quite good. So yeah, you can see elbows are sticking out just a little bit and behind where they need to be. So you can see the angle. Arizona? Is that an Arizona patch? My home state. So the arm should come straight down just like this. So the elbow should be here for everybody. Elbow should be right there, and then so you want to have. So I tend to teach that for Air Force teams. I'm going to put this up really high. The Army grip has the space here in between the index and middle fingers, and then it has the little donut here. The Marine Corps grip has the same space here, but closes up the gap with the thumb. The thumb rests inside the curl of the index finger. Okay, so that's the Marine Corps, Navy, and Coast Guard grip. Army grip, Marine Corps, Navy, and Coast Guard, and then close all of the fingers. No split here. You're still going to split the heel of the rifle, but you're going to close all your fingers. put that thumb in the curl of the index finger, and that's the Air Force and Space Force grip. So, but at least you don't have variation of technique. Everybody seems to be doing the same thing, which is good. You're so, and many things are very consistent throughout this whole performance, and that's great. At least you have some sort of training. However, the techniques that you're using are wrong. So you have a systematic training that goes on at a certain level, and that's wonderful. That's exactly what we want, systematic wise. But then we want it to be the correct techniques, and so the techniques that you're using aren't correct. Nope, you're screaming. It's supposed to be the volume of the and all of you are looking down too, by the way. It's supposed to be the volume of the command of execution. So, and I'm not going to give it here, but forward, and you look, keep that chin level. Don't bring the head down. So you're going to snap your head back there, third element leader. You're at port. You're going to say forward, so that now you can look where you're going, instead of bringing it forward as soon as he says harch. So forward, you're going to snap it back, and then he'll say harch, and you're off. And nope. Really close. That was very good. So second element leader, excellent job calling the command. That was on 2 right steps, and everybody stepped off with the left. That was fantastic. However, you pivoted coming out. You pivoted on the left, step, and then pivoted on the right. So first element leader pivoted. He's just now executing that first pivot, going into the second. No pivots. So what the Air Force pamphlet says is incline to the right, incline to the left. Now, when we're marching a flight or a platoon somewhere, we are so used to saying guide right, and the whole platoon moves over to the right. Guide left, then we do that. That's not the command to use. It's incline right, incline left. Guide right and left means the guide moves back and forth. The guide on bearer, or the flight or platoon guide. So yeah, that's, you incline, which means you just march over and march over again. Yep, that was great on calling the commands. Really well done. Everybody stepped off well. That was an excellent job, honestly. Really nice. So, again, Commander, calling these commands, just elongating everything. Column of 3s to the left. You're just, and that's, maybe this is the only year you'll be calling commands. Or maybe you've been calling commands for 3 years prior, something like that. Eventually, if you keep doing that with that kind of gravelly voice, let's say you go on to ROTC, and you're in colors or a competitive drill team there. As long as you keep calling commands like that, you're going to damage your vocal cords, and eventually you're going to pay for it. You're going to have a gravelly voice when you get old, and you hit your 40s and it's going to start going downhill. Get into your 50s, it's going to get even worse. So calling clearly is what you're supposed to do, but it's also going to be the best for you. It sounds the strongest when you give column of 3s to the left instead of column of 3s to the left. We don't want that. So again, it's just those that stand fast right there, or forward, column half left. This is for any formation that's out there, marching the column of threes to the left. You're going to call that that single command when you're an element leader, when you're a squad leader. You're going to call that with the level of the command of execution. So what you're doing there now, element leaders, you're just screaming as loud as you can, and it's supposed to be a command, not a scream. Nice timing. Don't mark time. So, unfortunately, you don't mark time. There is no provision, and I much appreciate the Army's technique of calling mark time, marching in place for a few steps, being able to align and space and all that, and then calling halt. But the command is only element halt. Yeah, very, very small step there. So, off the top of my... So, double time march. Take one more step. You enter double time on that right foot. So, enter double time on the next left foot. Double time march. Called on the left. But that's not double time. You're taking tiny choppy steps at an increased tempo. The increased tempo, fine, you're supposed to do that. But I, off the top of my head, I cannot remember what the step length is for double time for the Air Force. So that was good. Calling it on the right foot. Let's see. I want to go back. So that's what I was going to say. So tempo for here is you're around 93, 94 steps per minute. But when you were at half step, it was a little faster. So whether you're at half step, whether you're marching forward, whether you're marching in place, all the same tempo. So why did you move out to the outside? So you're on the side of third element, and you shouldn't be. Now I understand the crossover earlier. I understand it. I used to do it actually when I was growing up in Arizona. Used to do the same thing. It was just understood that we all crossed over, and it's more of a Western states type of thing. No, Commander, don't go to present. All right, we don't go to present when we're in formation marching. Individually, yes, that's what the Army did. They took out these salutes and they just went with going to present. Whether you're when you're on your own, walking around to and from a ceremony of formation, something like that. But we don't do that, Commander. Not at all. You're supposed to render a present arms. You should be at sling and then grab, salute, but you should be on the other side of the flight. Just because I understand where the thinking comes in. Cadets think you need to be on that side, for the VIP to render that salute. That's not the case. Not the case at all. You're on the other side. Yeah, you can see the overlap there now. So it wouldn't be since you're using the toe strike technique, which is the improper technique. I can't really comment all that much on, and that's not change step. I can't really comment much on the height of your step, because you need you're bringing the height of your half step is still too high, but I think if you were heel striking, it might be lower. Anyway, you're supposed to clear the marching surface when you're marching forward. That's it. You don't lift your feet any higher than that. Same thing with half step. You don't lift your feet any higher. There's nothing special that has to happen when you're at half step. Although it's still going to be a toe strike, or a heel strike, but that was not. See how you're lifting your feet much too high. Step, 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 step. Not four. It's step, step, step. So it's change step, march, step, step, step. That's change step. What you did doesn't change your step. If you had another formation marching in front or behind, they were marching at the same pace you are, same foot that you are, everybody's left, right, left, and you give change step, march, and you march that tempo, you will never change step. The whole reason why change step was created was to give individuals the technique to change their step, or if you just happen to get out of step with a formation in front of you, then fine, you can change step. But it's usually for an individual to do that, and just everybody practices together. But that isn't that's not how we execute. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. And it should be left, right, and then step, 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 right, left. So it's you didn't change step at all. You went through the motions improperly, actually. So see how you brought your feet together, and it should be change step, march, step. See, you called it on the wrong foot, by the way. So it should be step, bring the foot in, step, step. So it's change step, march, step, step, step. That's how you change step. Or am I change step, march, step, step, step? That's it. Holy cow. Sorry. That's it. Change step. All right, I'm looking this up. Sorry. Okay, so there you go. It's on this screen now, but yep, called as the right foot strikes the ground on march. So it's change step, march, step, step, step. Sorry, didn't remember there. So, all right, now we're back. Let me get rid of that. Okay, I apologize for that. So arm swing is 6 to the front, 3 to the rear. Right, Commander? That was like 20 to the front and 15 to the rear. Most of the flight seems to be swinging arms well. You've got that elbow locked in place. I didn't see any elbow movement, and the flight seemed to have a consistent arm swing throughout. Well,
and request mission tags to your drill pet, sir. Thank you, sir. Order.
So, element leaders lead. They don't trail. So you're going to march a distance, and if it's, say, 6 steps or less, fine. You can change direction, marching any which way, not a problem. Any more than that, or, this is just, a personal preference, but the manuals, each of the manuals state that it's just marching in the different directions are only for for slight, small distances, slight changes. So anything, and that's just a random number I pulled out of the air. It could be 4 steps or even 10, but you're going to march a distance off of the drill pad there. So that's facing to the left is not what you're going to do, and make it appropriate to march the team off. It should be right face, and then you're going to give a couple of columns right or counter column, and then march out. Counter column would probably be best, but well, anyway. So this is the Gallegos drill meet, and I'm wondering. Yeah, comments are off. That's unfortunate. I was hoping. So maybe this is just the account there. That's Schaffer or Schaefer. Not exactly sure what high school this was, but anyway, I hope my comments have been helpful. I appreciated the performance. The excellence there for what you were doing was quite high, but there were some technique issues that really need to be addressed as soon as possible to create new muscle memory for really the whole routine. So, all right. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it.